Okay, this is crazy. Welcome. I want to give you a little download on Kundalini Yoga. So, in Kundalini, a lot of the times you might see people wearing all white. I don't think this is necessary. You can try it, see how it feels for you. I typically like to just find clothes that I feel good in, that I can move in, I'm comfortable in, and that feel sacred to me. Also, a lot of times in Kundalini, you'll see people wearing turbans or hats or head coverings of some kind. This also isn't necessary. It's you can try it, see how it feels. I know there's at least one Kriya that requires a head covering because it says that you'll get a headache if you don't. I haven't actually tried that. I haven't tested that out, but yeah, sometimes I do. Sometimes I do wear a head covering. Sometimes I don't. I definitely, when I do, it definitely feels good to me, but it's not something that is required to do Kundalini. And I just wanted to tune in to a few of the basics. So when you are tuning in with Kundalini, you always tune in. And generally, you rub your hands together, and this activates 72,000 nerve endings in your hands. So you want to kind of wake those up, activate them, and then push them into heart center. And for tuning in, we use the Adi mantra, ADI, and it's Ong, O-N-G, Namo, N-A-M-O, Guru, G-U-R-U, Dev, D-E-V, Namo, N-A-M-O. Ong Namo Guru Dev Namo. Ong Namo Guru Dev Namo. Ong Namo Guru Dev Namo. And my personal translation of this mantra is Yo Universe, I'm tapping in. But it's in Gurmukhi, which is an Indian language that was created because Sanskrit was sort of only for upper class, for certain classes that were allowed to learn it, and Gurmukhi was created as a language for all the people. So it's way more accessible, and it's broken down into seed sounds. So each little seed has a meaning. And within Kundalini, there's also this whole science of the sound and the way that your tongue hits through your mouth or your teeth, and what it's stimulating in your body. They talk about Kundalini as being a science. I'm not super comfortable in speaking to that piece, but I'd like to learn more to be able to share. So far, I just have more experienced it, and I understand that I get a lot of benefit out of it. And so that's kind of where my practice comes from, is just tuning into the experience of it. But I would love to know more of the science of it, so I can speak to that, because I feel it, but I don't feel confident to speak it and share it. But with that mantra, Ong Namo Guru Dev Namo, so Ong, you want your tongue to hit the roof of your mouth, and to feel that vibration in your skull, Ong, and it's O-N-G, not Om, but Ong, Ong, Ong Namo Guru, 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 Guru. It's a reflexive R, so your tongue hits the middle to back of your upper palate. Guru, Guru, Guru. So you can play with that. But it is I bow to the primal wisdom within myself. I bow to the creative nature of the universe. It's really just yo universe, I'm tapping in. And then the next one that you might hear a lot, and one of my personal favorites, is the Mangala Sharan mantra for guidance and protection. And it goes, Adgare Name, Jagadgare Name, Satgare Name, Sri Gurudeve Name. Adgare Name, Jagadgare Name, Satgare Name, Sri Gurudeve Name. Adgare Name, Jagadgare Name, Satgare Name, Sri Gurudeve Name. You might hear these chanted 3 times in a row. You can actually chant them. It's just like really about tuning in. Kundalini is completely about your inward experience. So since you're tuning into the universe, the creative wisdom within and without you, and then you're putting out this protective spell, casting spells, really, you can say it 3 times. You can say it until it resonates in your body. You can say it once, you can just like think it. It's all legitimate, and ultimately, like, it's all your experience. And I think that's really like what spirituality comes down to. Like, these are some tools that are really nice for tuning into yourself and higher parts of yourself and universal deliciousness, but it's your experience. This is your practice. It's all about what does it for you and what you're getting out of it. And along those lines, you never want to push your body beyond what it's comfortable doing. You want to challenge yourself. Kundalini will challenge you, but you don't want to hurt yourself. So you want to be really mindful of that you are aware of your own boundaries, and that you're not going to injure yourself. So take care of yourself, number one, first and foremost. That is the most important thing. And then just pay attention to your experience. This isn't for anyone else. This is just for you. So we have those tune-ins, and then you want to warm up your body. So Kundalini Yoga is designed to exercise your body in certain ways, to like tire you out in really specific ways, so that you can open up more deeply into meditations, which I think is pretty cool. So, whoop, you can do things like that. Okay, so to start with, I also want to teach you breath of fire. So this is something that comes up. Kundalini is a lot of breath work, which is awesome. So one of the breaths you will learn is breath of fire, and it is an active exhale and a passive inhale. If you don't understand what that means, I will show you. So you're going to contract your stomach and push it in as you're exhaling out. And then you kind of have your automatic, like, your stomach will refill and push back out for your inhale. So and once you kind of get the hang of that, you can speed it up so that it's if you feel like you're hyperventilating, stop and do long, deep breathing. Start slow, find your own pace. Never feel like you have to match what I'm doing or whatever your teacher's doing or the people around you. Again, it's your own experience. Go at your own pace. Do what feels right for you. And a good way to learn this is to stick your tongue out and pant like a dog. And then once you've got that, you can close your mouth. So this is a really, especially with your tongue out, it's a really detoxifying breath. And there are some kriyas where you have your tongue sticking out and you're doing like panting breath like that or different things. And you might have like tastes come up, like bitter tastes or different things. And that is your body just detoxing. Like just stay with the breath and notice like if it changes. Sometimes like it'll start bitter and then you'll end kind of sweet. And you're like, oh, okay, I'm just moving things out. It's pretty cool. So that's breath of fire. That's a lot of Kundalini is breath work, and a lot of Kundalini is also core work, because there's this idea that all of those nerves and everything like end up meeting in your stomach. And so this is like your power center, which, I mean, if you're, yeah, you can think about chakras and your solar plexus, but also you have your solar plexus and your creative center, and then your root. Like there's a little bundle down here, a bundle of power. And if you just think about it, in like a, I don't know, your normal day to day, like if your core isn't activated, or your willpower, right? You might like, your gut might start to expand, or you might not have that like, yeah, that ability to like hold yourself up, like literally like keep yourself upright. So anyway, that's without putting a lot of pressure on your low back. And so when we're doing meditations and things, we want to have like a nice tall spine. That's a huge way to do it, is just engage your core. Just think about your core all the time. It will help you. Okay, so those are our tune-ins. There's our breath of fire. There's lots of different, Kundalini uses different mantras, which are like chanting or different sounds. If you're ever not comfortable chanting something, you can just listen to me or your teacher doing it, and let it kind of wash over you, and just kind of like figure out how you feel about it. Your teacher should always explain what your mantras mean. You don't ever want to chant something that you don't know what it is. And I kind of mentioned like there's like the whole science of sound, of what those seed sounds mean, what the combinations, larger combinations mean, and then how it's like activating your body and your brain. That would be cool to get into on a different video. But so mantras, there's also mudras, so the ways that you specifically hold your fingers. This is a really common one, is Gyan mudra. So you've got your thumb and your pointer finger touching. And to start with, you want to do, this is what's called like the passive Gyan mudra, and just have the tips touching. There's a more advanced version, but we'll just start with this. So there's also the whole like, your fingers represent like different planets, like there's like symbolism within that, but like your thumb is your ego, your identity. Your pointer finger is Jupiter, which symbolizes like expansion and spiritual pursuit. Your middle finger is Saturn, fuck you planet, which is like structure and discipline and boundaries. So it makes sense that that is also what people like flip people off with. And then your ring finger is your Venus finger, your finger of love, which is also self-worth, self-love, values. And then your pinky is your Mercury finger, so that's your communication. So you'll have specific mudras that engage your hands in different ways. Gyan mudra is our most common one. You've probably seen Rafiki from The Lion King doing this. I don't have hands if I put them out there, but it is the mudra of receptivity, because you're connecting your identity, your ego, to expansion, into like greater spiritual wisdom. And so it's like this bowing of your ego mind to this greater expansion. And so that's a nice one to just like sit tall. You can sit in a chair with your straight spine, or you can sit in easy pose. And let's see, there we go. Nope, I have no body. So easy pose, that'll work. With easy pose, you're just sitting crisscross applesauce, and that's like a really common Kundalini pose. So you might be sitting like that, straight spine with your hands on your knees in Gyan mudra, and doing long, deep breathing. And for like the regular long, deep breathing, you want to inhale and fill up your belly. Keep inhaling, let your chest expand, And then keep inhaling and bring up air all the way up. And then when you exhale, exhale from the top, exhale through your lungs, exhale through your belly, so that you're getting nice, full, deep, conscious breaths. Something that, a mantra that comes up a lot in Kundalini is Sat Nam, Satnam. Sat means truth, and Nam means name or identity. And so Sat Nam is truth is my name, truth is my identity. And well, this might sound maybe like a weird egoic thing. It's actually like pushing beyond that, because you're acknowledging the greater truth of what you are beyond your I self. So when you're doing like inhale, exhale, or any kind of like, a lot of Kundalini is rhythmic. You want to find your rhythm and like find that groove and stay in there. And so when you do that, so say you have like inhale left, exhale right, which is like a nice opening up your neck and also bringing lots of good air up to your brain. So you might inhale Sat and exhale Nam and just vibrate it mentally. And also the default eye position for Kundalini is closed and up and inwards at your third eye. Just remember, this is all about your inner experience. So you are just like tuning in up here. Keep your eyes closed as much as you can. Obviously, if there are like balance postures or different things that you need your eyes open for, keep your eyes open. And there's specific eye points, some dristis is the word for that. There's certain dristis for different kriyas. And a kriya is what Kundalini Yoga is made up of. Kriya, Kriya. A kriya is an intentional set. So I like to think of it like a formula or like a recipe. So there are different kriyas for different things. If you're looking to, if you have some grief that you are healing, there's a kriya for that. If you have anger you're dealing with, there's a kriya for that. If you want to improve your lungs, or kriya for disease resistance, strengthening the aura, kriya for elevation, flexibility in the spine. There are so many different kriyas. So there's a kriya for that. There's a kriya for that. So don't worry. So yeah, Sat Nam. And that's just like a nice mantra to just kind of like ingrain within you. I like to say Kundalini is the cheat codes for how to drive your spaceship. To really cultivate perseverance within yourself. There are things, like I said, Kundalini will challenge you, and there are things sometimes, let's see if I can have my arms out. There are things sometimes where, okay, say, all right, I know this is one. Sometimes, like in a kriya, you might be doing this, which I'm just spinning my arms around. And you're like, cool, whatever, I can do this forever. And then you're doing it for like 3 or 5 minutes or something. And then really quickly you're like, what the fuck? This is the weirdest thing. Why am I doing this? And then you're like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm going to stop. My arms are going to fall off. And you just keep breathing and you keep like leaning into the mantras and keep doing it. And then you switch to the next posture or whatever. And then at the end of the set, you always do shavasana, so you always lay down flat and just relax your body and like integrate all of the work that you've done. And what's cool about Kundalini Yoga is that you will leave your session feeling elevated, feeling like even if it's just like, I just worked out. It was in a weird way, but I worked out. And even if it's just like, well, I just did like a spiritual practice. It was weird, But I still tuned into myself. I still gave myself that time to meditate and do these things. So even if it's just that, you feel it instantly. And my experience, I usually feel it ripple out for like the next few days, the next week. The more I do my practice, the more I feel it, the more I'm elevated, the more I'm like able to be an objective observer of my life and my emotions, and really like handle the waves and the ebbs and flows with more grace. So that's part of why I love Kundalini yoga. Okay, I think those are most of the basics. And then to close out class, to close out a practice, generally just like we tuned in, and you just kind of want to have that like that bookend on the other side, and it can look like whatever you want it to look like. You can just tune in and say thank you to yourself for giving yourself time and space to practice. Typically in Kundalini, we sing the long time sunshine song. I'll play it for you. This works. Made a long time shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within. Guide your way on, guide your way on, guide your way on. And then you might also hear people singing it like, this is how I learned it. May the long time sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on, guide your way on, guide your way on. Satnam, Satnam, Satnam. Please remember to drink lots of water. And I always like to drink lots of water with lots of gratitude, and send love to every drop of water in my being, in your being, in all of being. Yeah. Anyway, okay, so there's a download on Kundalini Yoga, and thank you for tuning in. Satnam.